you to sit down.
I will never sit down. I don't recognize under a special rule. There's nothing chief whip that gives you power.
Can you take your seat?
From the time they entered Parliament with their red overalls and gumboots, the EFF members signalled business unusual in Parliament. Even before they were sworn in as honourable members of Parliament, they've already committed themselves not to honour some of the rules of Parliament, and they have since stayed true to their commitments.
Honourable Speaker.
Honourable Shibambu, take your seat.
There's a question
Honourable Shibambu, take your seat. I have not recognized you.
And he has not answered the question.
Honourable Shibambu,
that is what
I will throw you out of the house. I will throw you out of the house if you don't listen.
This was just one of the altercations between EFF members and Parliament's presiding officers. The debacle around security measures at President Jacob Zuma's home in Nkandla was to become the weapon they needed to stamp their authority.
You won't remove us. We're not going anywhere.
Pay back the money. Pay back the money. Pay back.
Since the Public Protector's report, where she found that some of the security measures at Nkandla benefited President Zuma and his family unfairly, and therefore he should pay back the money for the items that were not security features, the EFF took that fight to Parliament. They have since vowed that until President Zuma tells the nation how much is he going to pay and when, they will never allow him to proceed with his speeches in Parliament or anywhere else where they see him. They've continued to disrupt his speeches and parliamentary replies, and journalists who have been covering the arrival of the EFF in Parliament and their role during parliamentary debates and other procedures agree that their strategy and tactics have worked well for the party.
Well, I think they moved Parliament to where it should be, which is the centre of public debate in South Africa, more than any other party. By basically breaking the shackles of what people believed Parliament was, and to some extent they were quite correct in believing that Parliament was a somewhat somewhat boring place. Whatever you can accuse the EFF of, you cannot accuse them of being boring.
Whatever one's view is about the dramatics and the theatrics, and some of them have been very tense and very cheap, it's a matter of opinion, but certainly no one can sit back on the bench these days in the House and not do their work. So in that sense, things have shaken up. One of the reasons also perhaps that the EFF arrival in Parliament has been as dramatic as it has been is that it's shown a light on some of the institutions of Parliament that happen behind the scenes, away from committee meetings and plenary sessions. It used to be a very staid, very gentlemanly-like atmosphere here.
It's difficult to comprehend how the EFF would have performed in the manner in which it did for the past few months if the Nkandla issue was not the big issue in the country. But I think for me, it took an opportunity, quietly so, politically, and put some of its plan before it came here on hold and concentrate on the Nkandla issue. For me, really, I think credit to the Nkandla issue for the EFF to fail. And also it generated a lot of media publicity, because for some of the drama that has happened, it was really an unprecedented kind of issue. And the issue, Parliament used to be this place of decorum and respect and all that. But for the first time, look, the fact that in terms of the viewership, the parliamentary channel has been really gaining a lot in terms of viewership. And that's precisely because of the EFF.
However, the sustainability of their strategy is in doubt.
The first time they started chanting, "Pay back the money," they had a lot of sympathy from the opposition parties. But when they continue to repeat this again and again, disrupting Parliament, they have lost sympathy of the opposition parties at stopping parliamentary debate, so they need to change their tactics if they want to keep anyone's sympathy.
Yes, I think in many respects one of the EFF's biggest assets is the fact that they've been able to utilize Jacob Zuma as a weakness for the ANC. And quite correct. I mean, many commentators, analysts, and observers have said that, in fact, what you're seeing is the EFF not engaging in fundamental policy debate and, in fact, engaging in debate around personalized attacks on the individuals of the ANC and the president of the ANC and the president of the country being, the main one in that regard.
Political experts also agree that the EFF has brought lively debates in Parliament, although they were mostly theatrical and chaotic. Parliament has now recommended new rules and regulations, partly to control the EFF's chaotic engagements. As it celebrates its second anniversary and just over a year in Parliament, the party has a lot of introspection to do. Among other issues, it has to think whether its tactics in Parliament are sustainable. It still has another 3.5 years to prove itself. Whether it will come out with other new strategies and tactics or not, time will tell. Manelisi Dubase in Parliament.